Hey everybody, welcome to the very first draft of the very first Fantasy and Frames Women Best Ball Challenge. I'm Stacy Perez from Fantasy and Frames, and I am here tonight with a very special guest as we live stream the Suzy Kolber Division Draft. It's the football diehard himself, Bob Perez. Bob, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, Stacy. So happy you asked me to come on to watch this draft, follow along, do a little analysis, visit with some friends, and meet some new faces here as we get into this draft. It's going to be great.
Yes, thank you so much for coming and hanging out and sharing your Sunday with us, guys. If you don't already know, but I'm sure you do, you can find Bob over on SiriusXM on Footballgys. He is at Football Diehard on X on Twitter. So go follow him if you're not already. I'm going to throw the draft board up here because these girls are not wasting any time at all. The guys, this is a super flex draft. I'm going to go over the format real quick before I intro the ladies. Super flex tight end premium. It is a full PPR. Big thanks to the FFPC for hosting us, especially Alex and Mike for putting everything together. Guys, so we've got a 20-man roster here. So 1 quarterback, 2 receivers, 2 running backs, tight end, a flex, a super flex, and 12 bench spots. And rookies are in play on this. So you just got to draft them wherever you feel is a good spot. But the grand prize is a very cool trophy that I am working on putting together and a spot in the Scott Fish Bowl 15 for 2025. Thank you to Scott Fish for that very much. Look at this already. We have got these girls are not wasting. Like I said, they're not wasting any time.
No, I'm not surprised. And I've done a number of best balls, super flex best balls, a number of them. I think I'm in my third right now. I'm like taking a backseat to my radio co-host, Mike Dempsey, who's in like 120 best balls so far. I'm just barely scratching into I'm heading towards 20, and I'm fine with that. But 3 of them were super flexes, and we always talk, every year super flexes are each one is like its own dynamic, right? You never know. Sometimes the quarterbacks last a little longer. Sometimes you see a little bit of a race. This is a little bit of a race. Christian McCaffrey lasting until 5, not like right in the range where I've seen him. I've seen him go anywhere from 2 and to maybe make it till 6 or 7 in the super flexes, but this 5 seems like a sweet spot.
Yeah, I think so too. Looks like we got 1 running back off the board, Christian McCaffrey at 5, 2 receivers, CeeDee Lamb at 8, and Tyreek Hill at 9. All right, so let's talk about some of these ladies that are here and in the draft. We've got Rachel, and this is going to be in the draft order, guys. So we've got Rachel, you know her at Tootsie Pop 6. She's a writer for In Between Media and On the Field, and also the creator of our Women in Fantasy Football Zoom meetups, where I've gotten to meet a lot of the women that are in this draft. Number 2, we've got Amanda Solis. She has played in the Scott Fish Bowl as April, who is number 3. She's going to be joining us here later tonight. We've got Ariel with In Between Media, and she is at, you can find her at Trash Sandwiches, I believe. Yep. We've got Brittany Fleming. She is our Keith Fleming's wife from Fantasy and Frame, so welcome to Brittany. We've got Ashley Abrams. She is with IDP Plus and On the Field. She's also joining us tonight. Bonnie, you know her as Queen Bee. That's right. She's an analyst and editor with Fantasy Pros, and she is coming in at number 7. Steph Miller, who is a writer analyst with Ship Chasers and Leg Up, is going to be joining us as well tonight. Then rounding out the last part of the draft, we've got Jen Eakins. She's a content manager for 4for4 Football. Ann Dunn, who is absolutely killing it in her Scott Fish Bowl appearances. We've got Cindy, who is the Battle of the Sexes 2023 winner. And then we've got Brenda, who, Bob, she's a long time.
She is.
Dallas Cowboys fan. So those are all the ladies drafting. Looks like, ooh, true to her Dallas fandom, she took Dak Prescott there.
Yeah, it's not totally surprising. I mean, not out of line. The quarterbacks, I'm a big Anthony Richardson, investor. I did a super flex started one yesterday where I took him 4th. Just because I knew I wasn't going to get him, right? I mean, that was the only place I was going to get him. I don't have enough shares of him because I'm drafting with a lot of people who listened to me on the radio, and they all know that I'm totally in on him. And so he's been going a little bit early, and so I've been trying to make some concerted effort. But seeing him go right in this range, right in the CJ Stroud, Joe Burrow range, Dak maybe a little early, but if you're a Cowboys fan, totally understandable. And also, I mean, if you look at how the season ended last year, or just how they came on down the stretch, he and CeeDee Lamb, they had that almost unstoppable connection. It reminded me of the the Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams era in Green Bay, where it seemed like anytime they needed a handful of yards, those two could get it.
Oh, yeah. I had them in one of the FFPC drafts I did towards the end of the season, and right off the bat, I was not really excited about it. But towards the end of the season, oh my gosh, they were killing it. I wanted to ask. I put this kind of on my note sheet. Somebody to talk about. We've got Amon-Ra St. Brown going as our 4th wide receiver overall. Do you have any issue with him going before somebody like Ja'Marr Chase?
I mean, I could make an argument. Like, I try to keep it pretty open mind because I think at that level, I mean, any of these guys are capable. If you think this Detroit offense is going to continue to progress, I have some interesting thoughts about, the wide receiver too. We saw them, talk up Donovan Peoples-Jones when they re-signed him the other day. It makes you wonder about Jameson Williams a little bit, especially if you're a dynasty investor. But I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is locked in as one of the huge volume monsters. And I think I think what I've learned, Stacy, in recent years, the volatility of the NFL, you and I have talked about this before. Volume is the thing that I'm looking for. And I think he gives you the kind of guaranteed volume that puts him right in this range. Whether I would take him ahead of Chase on the regular, I don't know, but I think it might happen on occasion.
So I looked up his targets from last year. He had 164 targets, making him the 5th most targeted wide receiver overall in fantasy football. Do you know who number 6 was? It surprised me.
I'm trying to think of the numbers. I'm looking at go ahead and give it to me.
Puka Nacua. Yeah. Right. I figured he would be up there, but I didn't realize he was going to be that high.
I didn't either. Now I'm looking. Now we got me go targets. Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I know, right?
Amon-Ra 160. So Garrett Wilson way up there as well. Stephon Diggs had way more than I thought. Hey,
he did.
Yeah, Puka's way up there too. Damn.
So I want to talk about. I'm glad you brought up Stephon Diggs. So because I had some notes about him too. Obviously nobody's taken him yet, and we're in the 7th round. Last year he was going first round, 8 or 9 usually is where he was going. One of those top receivers. And I looked this up too today. This blew my mind. After week 8, he only scored over 10 PPR points twice the rest of the season.
It was horrible. And so like I've been thinking about this a lot. I just drafted, and we were talking before we came on. I was making a pick. I want to say it was I had the 4th pick, so I was coming back around round 2. So the tail end of round 2, and I'm going, I don't like any of these guys. And Stephon Diggs was one of those guys, but like I do kind of like him. I think when we look back, I mean, here's the question. Was what we saw last year the start of something that's coming, or was it something we'll look back in 5 years and say, man, remember that little blip on the radar that was Stephon Diggs' amazing career, and that he'll just pick up where he left off and continue going? So I think at this price, I'm okay. I'm okay taking the shot in that late 2nd round. And if he's lasting into the 3rd, he'll last a little longer here because it's super flex. But I'm okay taking a chance on that. I might want to go with someone, it might force me to take some safer plays. And it's funny that you're thinking of like, Stephon Diggs is like a risk in the late 2nd round, but that's where we're at. It was a long run. It was not good. I mean, the late in the season, there were games where he was like, 5 fantasy points, when it mattered most for us. So I get the fears. And I think we do a lot of connecting of like, the Joe Brady takeover as offensive coordinator was an issue. And I mean, yeah, but I think this is a multivariable equation, and maybe Brady is just one of the variables, and maybe there are other things and hopefully they get rectified, but I can see taking the chance on him.
Oh yeah. So Ashley must have heard us talking about Puka because he goes as her pick in the 6th spot. And our first tight end off the board, Sam Laporta, followed up by Travis Kelce. Rachel taking Kelce in the 3rd.
FFPC tight end premium right here, right?
It is tight end premium. So you get 1.5 extra for those tight end catches. Love. I have no issue with taking Sam Laporta, number 1 in a tight end premium as my first or the first tight end. I'm a little worried.
An interesting pick to see if she goes goes running back here. So interesting.
Ariel, I love it. Very excited. Brittany getting Kyler and Brock Purdy. Very nice. Yeah, I feel like, and I love Sam Laporta, huge Sam Laporta fan last year. I feel like there's no way for him to go, but probably regress a little bit.
Right.
I mean,
And the touchdowns were a big part of it, right? Is he going to hit the double-digit touchdowns again? I worry about that a little bit for Amon-Ra St. Brown too, but the volume is there. And I guess the concern for me is if that number 2 wide receiver comes on a little bit, who does that limit? Does it limit Amon-Ra? Does it limit Laporta? Will it be both of them? That would be my only concern with him. Still, he's my tight end one, and in a premium league, I could see making this move. This is an interesting build, though, because obviously, the 2 quarterbacks, there might be teams with 3 by the time she comes back around.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, there's some guys out there though. She can get some steals.
Oh, sure.
By the time it comes back around. Ashley on the clock. We'll see who she takes. But not too many. Let's see how many running backs are off the board here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We go. I'm looking in the comments. We go chaos always. I like that from Ariel.
Yes. Ariel, I love it. Ariel, see, you were worried that you wouldn't be prepared, but girl, I think you were just trying to, hustle all the rest of other girls out there for sure. All right. So,
see some others in the chat. Erica out there doing a little research before she gets in her draft.
That's right. Yeah, Erica's drafting in, oh gosh, I think she is
Tuesday.
Yeah, she's Tuesday. Oh, that's right, because it's right there. If I read the comments, I would see that. Erica's in my draft. Erica, don't do too much research. We can't have that. Tuesday. There you go, Erica. All right, so we have got our very first guest here tonight. April, I am gonna toss you onto the screen. Can you hear us okay? Are you there? Hello?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can. Excellent. Everybody, welcome. Awesome. This is April Balasquide. Did I say that right?
Balasquide.
Balasquide. Okay. Kelly was much closer than I was.
Yeah, I was impressed. Yes.
Yeah. Well, welcome. How you like your team so far? You're drafting on the 3rd spot.
Yeah, I got a nice little stack to start there. Yep. I wasn't sure if AJ Brown would make it back to me, so I was happy with that.
Yeah, I've been seeing Brown go like a little bit in that range at the tail end of that group right there. And as we were coming back around, and I saw Puka go, I said April is primed for AJ Brown.
Yeah,
coming back around, getting to I always feel like I felt like last year, like for some reason it was a disappointment, and maybe it was until you look at the numbers after the fact. There was no disappointment there. He was a locked in quarterback one. He's got a great supporting cast. Your level of confidence in him duplicating that season.
Yeah, I'm excited to get what I think are 2 of the top quarterbacks along with the stack there. So I think I got pretty lucky with the turn, the way it kind of fell to me. But yeah, I see Tua having a positive season as long as he has all his targets available and everyone's playing.
Definitely.
And the addition of Jonnu Smith, a game changer. Got to watch that guy. Got to watch that guy, man. He will be stealing touchdowns from somebody.
I saw
left and right.
I saw McDaniel talking to Xavier Worthy at his pro day, so maybe they'll add some more speed.
That man can't stay away from the speedsters. I think that's like, if he had a type, that would be his type for sure. Everyone who goes fast on his team. Look at Cindy doing straight receivers. I'm kind of digging that build right there. She's got Jefferson, Chase, and Nico Collins. Who would have thought Nico Collins in the 3rd round, right?
Boy, Nico Collins in the 2nd round in a regular draft, like on the regular. I'm interested to see that. I'm getting sweats watching, like myself, I'm getting a little edgy. I get a little quarterback needy in super flex, but I think and look, we draft with plenty of people who wait late and it works out reasonably well. I've done one this year where I purposely forced myself to lay back a little bit at quarterback. I survived it. I think I have a chance to make some money in that league. So I'll be interested to see when the trigger gets pulled on quarterbacks and who's left.
I know. I get the FOMO in a super flex if I don't take a quarterback early, and I get real nervous, and then I just can't help myself, and I get talked into taking people like Derek Carr, and then I hate myself for the rest of the season.
I see Mr. Scampers in the chat. He would be the primary late quarterback drafter that gives me the sweats as well. So a lot of that going around.
Love it. Well, I'm
trying to update my queue here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no
while
problem.
we're while I'm on the
Yeah,
chat.
anytime you need
Not
some
trying to
time
be
there, April.
antisocial. Yeah.
Anytime you need some time. It's tricky to talk and draft.
Yeah.
It is. Ooh, there we go. We got, oh wow, Trevor
it.
Lawrence.
Love
Going
the Stafford though for Cindy is her first quarterback. We'll see how it plays out, but like just the values at quarterback this year are insane. That range of
Mhm.
12 to 24. There are plenty of guys who are going to end up being contenders to be in the top 12. I see a lot of it.
Well, so I know obviously this is super flex, it's a little bit different, but Bob, do you think, after last year, everybody went so crazy drafting the, quarterbacks early, taking them in the first and second round, and it didn't necessarily work out as well as it had like the year before? I mean, do you foresee maybe kind of in just regular redrafts, people kind of easing back on that this year and maybe kind of letting them go to the second or third round?
Yeah, I've already seen that a fair amount, and I think part of it is me. I mean, I'm definitely doing that. Josh Allen's still going around the same range where he's going, maybe a round later. You see that start at 3, and
Yeah.
so it seems like everything's shifted down maybe a round, and people aren't waiting too long on the pieces after that. I'm drafting Anthony Richardson in the 5th round when I get him, and that's only because he's not lasting beyond that. So I think the order that I see these players come off, I think Mahomes is a little assertive, and I know Rachel likes that. Is fine with that, and I'd be fine with that too. Marquise Brown there makes a difference, I think. But you're seeing those 4 go off. I'm usually seeing Allen, Jalen, Lamar, then Mahomes, and then it's Stroud, and then the field. And I think this is a little Burrow going a little higher than I've been seeing him go. Dak a little higher, but you got a Cowboys fan, makes sense. So yeah, this is not out of line with what I've been seeing though.
That's what I was kind of curious about the Burrow pick there too, especially, given that injury and, the kind of the severity of that with his hand and everything, and not really knowing, is he going to be, okay by the time the season starts?
Yeah, it seems like he's going to be fine. He's been throwing a medicine ball, a little light medicine ball. He says he'll start throwing it in OTA. So hopefully that's the case. It's definitely something to watch, but he sounds like he's on track. And I think the Bengals fully expect that.
Bob, April, our first rookie is off the board.
Oh, yeah.
Caleb Williams, Stephanie pulling the trigger. Caleb Williams in the 4th round. I think that's probably going to be a steal.
I think there might be one more coming off for this round, probably too.
I mean, his quarterback 17. He's gone up in best balls. I've seen him now inside round 10. In single quarterback best ball. So and I see him go ahead of say Matthew Stafford or Trevor Lawrence is not a huge surprise. But in single quarterback leagues, you can do that because then you can get one of those guys as your quarterback too, and feel like you have the steady, capable guy in case your gamble doesn't pay off. I do that a lot with Richardson. You pair him up with Kirk Cousins in the double-digit rounds or someone like that, and you feel pretty comfortable with taking the risk earlier. So, but Steph waiting this late and making that her first quarterback, I'm going to be watching closely to see who the next one is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're really doing right by him, too, in Chicago. I mean, assuming, of course, that's where he goes. I don't think anybody thinks he's going anywhere else. But, bringing in Keenan Allen and to pair with DJ Moore. And, it really seems like poor Justin Fields got the short end of the stick now that they're
all right, April, here we go.
Weapons.
All right, I'm gonna stick to what I said, and there's gonna be another rookie coming off the board here. I don't know where he's gonna go, but
it doesn't matter.
I don't think anyone cares. I mean, honestly, in the redrafts that I'm or the best balls I'm in, he's going regularly in the second round. I mean, I don't know that I've seen him make it outside the second round. I think this is a little later than I've seen him go in those. So I think that's a great pickup.
Yeah, I love it. Can't go wrong with Marvin Harrison Jr. Ooh, Rachel, get that Mike Evans Baker stack. Look at that, girl.
Nice
stack.
I think I'm going to grab my second stack here as well.
Very nice. Jalen Waddle. See, if you take Waddle, though, every time he scores a touchdown, you're required to do the Waddle touchdown celebration. I don't know if you knew that.
No problem. I'll let my family know so they don't think I've lost my mind.
He popped down there building an all-day sucker. I'm telling you, with the double stacks. That's nice.
Very nice. And you can do some other things too, like later on, with the build that you're going for too. You can get some other guys to kind of pair with both Philly and Miami.
Brittany with the only 3 quarterback team so far. Justin Fields taking a little bit of a gamble. Taking that chance. What do we think? Do we think Russ is going to make it? How long will Russell be the starter? Will he open the season as the starter? April, what do you think? April's building her board.
She is. Well, I'm glad that you brought the Pittsburgh up because I was kind of thinking, like we got the Houston stack so cheap at the end of the drafts, and I was kind of wondering like who else out there could potentially have that kind of same vibe, and I was wondering if Pittsburgh might be a sneaky candidate for that.
Oh, for sure. I guess the uncertainty at quarterback is going to leave a lot of things open and cause a lot of confusion. And like I've seen Fields go ahead of Russell Wilson. This is not the first time that I've seen it since this trade, and I don't know that it's a horrible gamble. It's her third quarterback playing for upside there. I get it. If you got Russell Wilson later, it'd be even more exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, a Mark Andrews in the 5th and a tight end premium. I'll take that all day long. Ooh, there he goes, Deshaun Watson.
Is Brittany on auto draft?
I think so. I think Brittany and it looks like Amanda might be on auto draft.
Or they're really fast.
Now that I've seen it, they're definitely on auto draft.
I think. Oh yeah.
Amanda is doing really well on auto draft. I'm gonna say, like, Amanda's auto draft has been quite big.
It's gonna be like your friend that auto drafts. They're
right and crushes you
every year, and they're gonna like come in as the top one. Ooh, Jaden Daniels. Stephanie, look. Ooh, Stephanie.
Well, it's working. Yeah.
My goodness. Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. I like it. It's bold. That's a bold move. But that could potentially pay off really well.
So, like, if you're drafting Jaden Daniels, you try and like make an assumption of where he's going to end up getting drafted and draft the other quarterback there. I'm looking at you, Jacoby Brissett. Maybe not. I don't know. It's interesting.
Oof.
We'll see what Steph does.
Well, okay, so let's say, like, where do we think he's going to go to the Commanders, or do we think New England's going to roll the dice on him?
One of those two. I mean, it feels like it. Washington talking today that they're likely to take a quarterback. I mean, duh. But they'll listen to phone calls, so we'll see. But I think whether it's Drake May or Jaden Daniel, those are going to be the quarterbacks in play with those picks. Unless all the JJ McCarthy talk gets.
Oh, that's true. Up. All right. Well, we've got a few more tight ends off the board here with Dalton Kincaid, Evan Ingram.
So, April, you've gone quarterback and receiver specifically. Are you looking to shake it up a little bit, or do you generally tend to go wide receiver heavy early? She's breaking up a little bit.
That's kind of what I thought was best available, but I think I might need to start looking at some RBs or tight ends coming up here because it looks like a lot of the tight ends are going.
So it's been more of a best available than a hey, I want to nail these wide receivers. All right.
Yep.
I mean, you've got a great wide receiver room there for sure.
I hope so. Yeah. Yeah, so my queue is dwindling, so let's see.
The tight end queue is
it might end up being a wide receiver again if it keeps going this way. Let's see.
Well, you've got some good options still out there with your tight ends. I think.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it feels like it's thinning out at about 10, but there's still a couple reserve guys that are that probably deserve to be in the top 10, but kind of get squeezed out. So
yeah. Well, there he goes.
Stephon Diggs, round 6.
Oof, who would have thought? Thought? My goodness.
Wide receiver 21.
That's
holy smokes.
Crazy.
The times they are changing.
There's one tight end. I'm not going to say who, because just in case April's planning on picking this person, there's one tight end out there that I am shocked is not gone yet. Tank Dell. Yes, somebody took Tank Dell. Good job, Bonnie.
like Jennifer's commenting that she had to do it. I mean, I totally agree with you. She had to do it. I mean, like, you know, like we were saying earlier, is this going to be a case where we look back on, you know, on Stephon Diggs' career and we just say, man, remember that little blip, that tiny little bit where, and then I got him the next year, like dirt cheap. You know, the only year I ever got a value on Stephon Diggs. I mean, I think that's in the range of possible outcomes.
Oh, April, I hope you do what I'm hoping that you do right here.
All right. Here it is. Am I going to be the sucker this year that that takes Kyle Pitts?
Yeah. No, I don't think you're a sucker. I don't think so. I mean, I feel like I'm surprised he hasn't gone earlier.
If not now, when? I mean, honestly, you've got the numbers point in his direction. His own analytics and the metrics point to him breaking out. Now the quarterback should point to him breaking out. I think this is the year. And I think that's like, what is he, tight end? I want to say that's like 8, 9. What do we got? 9 tight ends.
And honestly, this is the first time I think I've ever had him. So
well, maybe it's the time to have him. If there's ever a time to draft Kyle Pitts, I think it's this year.
Dame Overboard was all about the Cooper Cup.
I hope so. All right, let's see.
Oof, I like that Jaden Reed pick. Rachel, I am loving.
Take my first RB here.
I like it. I like that. I feel like he's just a monster. Just all the touchdowns. Well, maybe not all of them. But.
I feel like this is turning out well for you, April.
Yeah, April, I'm digging this draft for you. There we go. There goes Cooper Cup.
I hope so.
Ken Walker and Brittany's draft too. I mean, she got McCaffrey and Ken Walker.
Yeah, if you threw the Justin Fields pick out of here, I mean, the 2 tight ends in a tight end premium league, not my preferred option, but like I could think of worse mishaps. Like if Dalvin Cook was sitting at the top of your queue or something.
Oh my gosh, that would be just disastrous.
The queue
I actually am about to put Dalvin Cook in a dynasty league.
Yeah, the queue can be very, very fickle thing when you're on auto draft.
Gonna make sure that you are got that all taken care of.
Yeah, Kelly Donovan in the chat saying, Devonta Smith also seems like all these receivers. I mean, we're looking at a range of guys. If Diggs was 21, Deebo Samuel 22, Tank Dell 23. That's a little later than I've seen him going, or I guess right around the range. DK Metcalf, Devonta Smith. Yep. I mean, Malik Neighbors. That's a nice aggressive play there, and I'm not against it.
No, not at all. I mean, look at that. I mean, you've got second year guys, Stroud and Puka. And then you've got the rookies with Drake May and Malik Neighbors. That's nice, Ashley. This is fun. We're going to have to talk to you about this build here once you get on here a little bit later.
Yeah, I'm just kind of stepping back and looking at some of these builds here, and like Jennifer's team is looking super sweet, not just because Jahmyr Gibbs is on it. But man, I'm keen on Michael Pittman. I like both those quarterbacks. Diggs that late as your wide receiver 3. I think this is a great start.
I know all these teams look really, girls, you guys are just absolutely like sharks. You guys are killing it. I love it. I love that.
Amari Cooper, that's a bargain there as well for Bonnie.
I know. My goodness.
With the Deshaun Watson, stack there as well.
Yeah. Go grab Jameis at the end just in case.
I think that running back combo that Bonnie has put together is going to be a tough one.
Yeah. I saw a picture, I think it was on Instagram the other day, of Jonathan Taylor. And I don't know what on earth, he looks like he's put on a dozen pounds of muscle. I mean, the man looked like an absolute beast. And somebody, I forgot what the caption was. It was like, this isn't a defensive end. This is Jonathan Taylor. It's like, oh my goodness. Man. Well, April, thank you so much.
Can I ask one quick piece of advice? Where do you see David Montgomery's production falling off a bit this year?
I don't know that I see it falling off, and I like him as the value he's been on these drafts. I mean, I'll be surprised if he it's going to be well in the double-digit rounds. I just want to look at the current ADPs just on regular leagues, and I want to say that I have not seen him go early, and it seems like he should be going higher. Let's see
I hope no one else is drafting is listening, because
no one is listening. Running back 19. I mean, I think there's a whole range of guys in that same area that I think are super values. I think he is definitely one of them.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
April,
when he came back from his injury, what was he running back 8 last year
I
when he
think
came back
so.
from an injury? So
Well, he was, and he's the goal line guy, but I'm
Yep.
not sure if he's gonna keep that role as much as he was. But
James Conner, one of the guys in
see.
that same range, and Dunn is listening. We better be careful.
Uh-oh.
Team number 10 on the clock.
He's not making it back around, Ann.
No. Oh my goodness. Well, April, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate you spending some time with us, and especially while you're drafting. So why don't you tell all the people where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hopefully I contribute a little bit here, and I appreciate you guys talking me through my picks and making me feel good about them. And you can find me on Twitter at April Balskide. I put it underneath my name there. So
Awesome. All right. Well, we will let
that's
you.
it. I'm just a fantasy football player.
You're a fantasy football enthusiast. Well, April.
Yes, I am.
Well, we're going to let you go.
And I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Of course.
Thanks, April. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I haven't met you either. So nice to meet you, April. And we will catch up with you later.
All right. Nice meeting you too. Thank you.
Bye. All right. We are on the turn here with Brenda. We have got our second guest waiting in the wings here. She's ready to go. Steph, you're a couple minutes early, but I feel like you're a pro. You can handle this. I'm going to throw you on. Guys, everybody, welcome Stephanie Miller. She is Steph Miller, 57. Guys, Steph, how do you feel about your draft?
Feel pretty good. It's definitely not what I planned, but I don't like to plan things out too much. So go rookies.
Well, I think you met the great Stephanie Miller. We drafted together, in the live draft in Dallas last year. It was great meeting you there. I like the build so far. It's kind of like, I think waiting that long on receivers, I'm a little surprised at the values you're getting the last 2 rounds in particular.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of my, I always take what the draft gives me for the most part. And, I saw everybody get a little hungry on quarterbacks. So I took advantage. I was, I thought CD was a great value falling to that spot. I didn't think he'd go there. I was hoping Dak made it back so I could get a little sack, but knowing that there was another Cowboys fan, that didn't happen. So, I decided to get the top, pretty much the top wide receiver. And for me, I got Bijan right after CMC, so I just kind of filled out those top positions. And I was happy to do that and hope, fill in quarterback as it comes, because I think there's a lot of value in the drafts I've done so far.
Well, let's talk about those quarterbacks.
Well, I mean, Caleb should be the first pick overall. I mean, I think the Bears have pretty much cemented that now, getting rid of Fields and everything. And Drake May, not Drake May, Jaden Daniels. I am on here, and I'm going to actually take my third quarterback with Will Levis here.
Solid.
There you go. Like it.
So, anyways, so Jaden Daniels, he should have a big rushing floor. So even if he does land in the dreaded New England, I think he could survive more than other quarterbacks. But both of them, I think are going to get the start right away. I mean, they should be going to places where they play the whole season. And, this is best ball. I don't have to pick who to start. I can, just fill in. And even though it is super flex, if I get strong enough other positions also, it's not the end of the world if somebody else happens to go in. Getting stronger places can help. And, I really like the value on Trey McBride too.
Yeah, I like that as well. I think getting, a guy like Levis that has that solid, he's going to be starting from week 1. That kind of fills, any concerns,
Exactly.
For Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully Levis will start chucking it like he did last year. He done. They don't have to be that good in real life, just good enough to play, to not get benched, and chuck it out there. Seems like Tennessee's making some moves. They might be pretty good this year.
Well, you've got 3 solid receivers if Treylon Burks turns into something, and maybe the Chig Okonkwo, the post-hype, the post-hype sleeper of we're all waiting for.
Steph, you
Yeah,
could
we'll
probably
have to
do
see.
a fantasy stack kind of late too and get some value there towards the end. There's still some guys out there for them that you could grab.
Yeah, and the other thing is we're drafting so early. There's tons of rookies. You don't know where they're landing. So,
Exactly.
this is a smaller kind of self-confined tournament. Yes, I like stacking, but it's not quite as important as when I do like a lot of the giant tournaments I'm used to playing in. I mean, I could still do correlation of teams even without quarterbacks. There's a lot of options out there.
Steph,
And I love this whole rookie class. So
Steph, talk about correlation a little bit more, because I know there are some people out here that maybe they don't do as many best ball drafts as we do. Can you explain for the people what correlation is and how it works?
Well, probably the thing people are most familiar with is like stacking like a quarterback with one of his wide receivers. But I mean, really, you could take a quarterback, you could take a wide receiver, you could take a tight end, you could take his running back. You could stack players on a team without a quarterback. What it's doing is it's limiting the number of things you have to get right. So it's like you can pick an offense and you're like, okay, I think this offense is going to score a lot of points. You don't have to know exactly who it is that's going to score them, but you can just get a bunch of people on there and you can, hopefully get one or two, every other week or so, you're going to get the guy. If you have the quarterback, odds are one of his receivers or somebody else is going to go off if he's passing the ball. Sometimes with your rushing guys, it's not quite as important. And then a lot of people sometimes don't like to always stack like a running back with a quarterback. But in these type of contests, what can happen is, again, if the offense is getting a lot of points, then, maybe the quarterback has a big passing game one week and maybe the running back has a big game another week. They could kind of ping pong back and forth and you're still soaking up all the points in that offense. And then we have a lot of running backs that also do catch passes nowadays. But like, I don't mind even doing some mega stacks of like 3 to 5 players on a team. And then there's a few offenses that could be undervalued, that you might think at the end or, that go really late. And you could take advantage there too. So there's a lot of different avenues you could take, but pretty much the idea is like if the quarterback goes off, probably so is one of his receivers, and making, a team level bet that, like I said, just limits the number of things you have to get right.
Hit your clock there, Steph. You're
a little
almost
on
out.
the edge.
Oh, dang. I didn't realize I'm on it. Oh, all right.
I should have said
I
something.
am going to
You got
see.
I didn't want to interrupt. I was like, I bet she knows.
No, I had no idea.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry. Oh, let me turn off. Oh, now I'm on auto. Oh, who'd I get? I didn't even see.
George
Oh,
Pickens.
no. Yuck. I don't even like Pickens.
Well,
maybe he'll do something.
I mean, he should have a new role, right, this year in this offense now that Deontay Johnson is on. I mean, that's
I'm just
positive about, right?
If he's going to do it, it's going to be now.
Yeah. Silver lining. Wasn't it silver lining?
Yes.
I mean, as a wide receiver 4, I can, especially in best ball, I can think of a lot worse outcomes there.
Yeah.
It's fine. I do have some, I have my queue set. So I do have some sort of rankings in, even though I probably would have gone against my own. So.
Like in some of these third quarterbacks, they're looking nice. I started out with you, Steph, but I think Derek Carr's, a solid starter. JJ McCarthy, if you have Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield for Tissy Pop there for nice. Rachel, I think JJ McCarthy's a nice play. Geno Smith, Bryce Young. I mean, are we sure Geno's locked in? How do we feel about that, Steph? I know Mike McDonald was talking today. When they're talking about it and they have to say it, it makes me like, really?
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I prefer to get guys I know that are playing the whole season.
Yep.
In these. So I try to not take a ton of those types because it's so important. First you want, especially in Superflex, quarterback points. But then, I mean, I also want a guy for the playoffs. So even if he does start off, he could lose, he's definitely in danger of losing his job. And those playoff weeks are some of the most important weeks, especially in big tournaments.
Yeah.
Where that's not really the risk I want to take. I mean, and there's so many, I think these rookies are all a little undervalued because, I mean, people have been scared because we've had some bad seasons for guys, lately. And these rookies should all get starting roles and be in places, I think, to get in. And I mean, Caleb Williams, I hate to say generational talent, but I mean, he's been hyped for a long time, and there's nobody, Fields isn't there. So it's not like he's going to get, there's not that weird risk of getting benched. But yeah, with Geno, I kind of the same thing. I'm like, you can say it, but I want to see how training camp goes. There's a lot of other stuff. All right, I see I'm coming up.
You are.
For some reason, I never can tell when I'm on the clock on FFPC.
I'll let you know for sure.
Thing.
You're on deck.
I did put somebody in the queue.
Good.
You're on deck, so you're fine.
Oh,
but yeah, I mean,
Tony Pollard, how the mighty have fallen. Second round last year, coming in.
Look, I think just Zamir White going off just now. I mean, do we really think Alexander Madison's cutting into his workload? I mean, maybe they draft somebody, but based on how they used him when Josh Jacobs was hurt, I think this is a great value for him. And I like Javonte Williams right now too. I think he's going a little lower and maybe a full year removed from surgery. We see a little bit of a surge. I'm a little worried about Jaleel McLaughlin because I do think he's the kind of player that Sean Payton values, but I think Javonte looks like he's in a good spot here and a good value.
Yeah, I'm liking Javonte Williams so much more this year than I did last year coming off that surgery. He didn't have I feel like the Breece Hall situation, like he came on and just blew everybody away even after his surgery, and Javonte didn't really have the same luck. So I'm excited to see how he rebounds this year. Ooh, Brian Thomas, LSU. I like it, Steph. That's a fun one.
I mean, I'm just going to stick with my theme.
Yeah.
Chris Pat is still commenting about, the Ryan Grubb coming as the offensive coordinator in Seattle. And I think a lot of people projecting that, that very thing, right? Like we're going to see some of these guys really fare well in his offense that he brought from Washington. Makes you wonder if they, if they hadn't traded. I thought before they traded for Howell that Penix would be in play there, but.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm a little curious to see what they're.
Penix is like the polarizingest. It seems like of the rookies. I mean, people think he's either like the super elite arm talent or total trash.
So, are you Nix or Penix? Who do you have ahead?
Like I am not a draft Nick, so I just pay attention to what Matt Waldman tells me. So I think he likes Penix more than most. The arm talent.
Yeah.
The arm talent. I mean, he's an older guy coming in. He's had some injury stuff.
Bad injuries,
but he does have the arm talent. I mean, it just kind of depends on I think for fantasy, where you think guys are going to go playing that game, who has the best.
Yeah, I think of these drafts.
Way to get play time.
Yep.
Yeah. Ooh, April adding Ramondre and DeAndre Swift there with Derrick Henry. That's good. That's a good. I wasn't sure what was going on in Chicago when they signed DeAndre Swift, but I don't know. I kind of like it now.
I feel like
Swift got the money though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of a mess. I mean, that backfield, and he wasn't that good finishing up the season. And I was a huge Swift fan, But he started off okay, but then he did not look great. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on.
Too soon to start wish casting Khalil Herbert to your Cowboys?
Look, anybody to the Cowboys that isn't Zeke again, I'm good with. But I mean, it really seems like I think that the Cowboys are going to take a running back this draft.
For sure.
It could be the high, as high as maybe the second round. I'm looking at, Benson, Brooks.
I like Benson.
Somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Brooks is coming off the ACL, but the Cowboys team doctor did the surgery. So if anybody knows how his recovery is going, that would be it. But whoever they do take, I would like shares of that rookie in best ball tournaments.
Guys, I think Rachel may have just gotten a steal in round 11 with Raheem Mostert as long as he stays healthy. I mean,
Yeah, I think people. I've noticed this a lot in best balls. People really shying off him. Achan going early, like I mean, maybe not as early as he went in this draft, but definitely earlier. And Raheem Mostert, I've seen him make it into double-digit rounds in some best balls. I don't think he deserves to be that low.
No,
he's not going away.
No, I mean that was such a cheap backfield to get last year, and they just absolutely blew everybody out of the water. Like I'm just really surprised. I mean, I totally get the injury, everybody being a little anxious about that with Raheem Mostert, but man, 11th round, it seems a little late for me, Rachel. Good job getting that, snatching him right up.
I mean, Mostert had a great season last year. We know Miami likes to run the ball. They're going to put up points. I mean, these drafts are great for zero or hero RB builds, because you can get those guys at such a huge discount later on in these drafts. Yeah. Could easily rival, I think maybe the top running backs, I'd say maybe, CMC, Bijan, Brees, Gibbs, Kyron. But past that, almost anybody could match some of the weeks. It seems like, some of these later guys, you can get some great values.
Yeah. I mean, Derrick Henry going where he went in this draft, I thought was a super great value for April. I mean, I might be too all in on Derrick Henry, but not without reason. I mean, people think he's fading a little bit. He was like 6th in the NFL in breakaway rate last year. He was the 7th fastest run in the NFL. The thing that makes him the most dangerous is that breakaway ability. Oh, well, that's not the thing that makes him most dangerous. It's the 250 pounds. I'm all in on this. I think that's a great value.
Derrick Henry's a unicorn. I mean, I don't think any of the typical rules that apply to, age or anything like that, or, too much tread on the tires. I don't think any of that applies to Derrick Henry.
No, I loved his advertising that he puts out. Those workout videos are always super entertaining and make me feel like I'm probably not doing anything at all.
Who's the guy from the Steelers? He's retired now.
That's who
used to put the videos out of him doing all those like 100 bajillion pound squats, or doing the sled. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
Oh, is it Harrison?
Yes. Thank you. Yes. I was, just mind blown at those.
I was still thinking Derrick Henry when you said that. I mean, his workouts are crazy too. But I went with Jaylen Warren, who I
love that pick.
Think is really underpriced, as always. He was the running back 4 in breakaway percentage, running back 10 in rush grade. I mean, he bested Najee in everything. Najee maybe doesn't get the 5th-year option. We have another coordinator who we know loves to use running backs.
I'm old enough to remember I'm old enough to remember Arthur Smith being an innovative offensive mind. Perhaps he can regain some credit.
I still really for the
with the word innovative.
I didn't realize that Jonnu Smith had gone to Miami. I just automatically assumed that he went to Pittsburgh.
No.
No, I like it a lot more than Miami.
The Smith brothers.
I keep hearing, with the Najee Jalen, thing now with Arthur Smith. I keep hearing that everybody thinks Arthur Smith is going to lean more towards Najee than Jaylen Warren. What do you guys think about that?
I think that Arthur Smith's going to do whatever the hell he wants.
I think we need to remember it's a low bar there, though. I mean, they've been such a disappointment at offensive coordinator that, like, if he does anything and has some success, nobody in Pittsburgh is going to care how it works out. We're going to be the only ones mad.
Yeah, that's true. I think he might be able to do whatever he wants to the extent of Mike Tomlin, as long as he keeps Mike Tomlin happy.
But Jaylen Warren was only finished 15 points behind Najee last season on 74 fewer touches.
Yep.
So he is so much more efficient, even if his workload, and I think there's a good chance they split. But I just think it's the better player, and they're going so close. I mean, still give me the cheaper guy.
Yep. That's always the approach for me, is like when you're sitting there and there are 2 guys that are close together, I am always going to take the cheaper option.
Yes.
Yep.
So Jen just said she's going to do a homer pick here. So I can't wait to see what she's the pick right before you, Steph. So Josh Palmer just went off the board. Jen, I can't wait to see your homer pick here. Let's go. Let's see who it is.
I'm not sure what team. I forgot what
The
team Jen
Seahawks?
likes. Oh, she got okay. Oh no.
Ooh, Lad McConkey. Oh, Keith Fleming is going to be so happy. He loves Lad McConkey. Does not roll off your tongue easily, but great wide receiver prospect.
Miami.
Steph is on the clock. So let's see who she gets here. Guys, we are in the 12th round already. This is flying by. You guys are.
I'm not surprised by this. All these drafts tend to go super. Like everyone here is experienced drafters. You could tell by their drafting. Those that are auto picking are going even faster. Oh, there you go, Jonathan Brooks.
He's going to the Cowboys. Well, again, I'll get some team correlation with CD and Brooks, even though I don't have a Dak.
You can still get Deuce Vaughn later.
Or Rico.
All right.
Yeah, I got burned on Deuce last year. You remember that.
Poor Deuce. I love that he's still on the team. I really wasn't thinking that was actually going to last as long as it did, but good for him. Great.
Well, the depth chart is pretty barren, so that helps.
Zero starts among all the running backs currently in Dallas.
Oh, poor Deuce.
4 touchdowns, though.
I mean, let's see. Who do you guys get? You guys still have Rico and Malik Davis and Snoop Connor, it looks like, according to
Yep. Dowdle just got a new deal. So I mean, right now he's the lead piece right now.
I mean, it was a little over $1 million. I mean, it wasn't huge, but we didn't have any money until they restructure and get Dak's stuff out of the way. Then they can open up a little more cap space. But now I'm not sure.
What do you think, Steph, about Rich Eisen's discussion about Dak, saying that it's like rip the Band-Aid off time, that they're just going to leave that contract in place and have options at the end of the season? If they don't go deep into the playoffs, they'll be ready to move on. Trey Lance waiting in the wings.
First of all, I think we know at this point Trey Lance obviously isn't good.
Does Jerry know that?
Secondly, I don't know, but I mean, Dak has all of the leverage right now. The way they did it last time, like, I just don't think they can.
Well, it's $59 million this year. Well, I think they took 4 off.
It's going to be huge.
Well, it's a huge hit this year, and if they don't restructure it, though, they can move on next year without any bad implication. They can move on from him realistically next year. And it sounded like Rich Eisen was reporting testing that it's a huge hit this year, and they haven't done anything about it. If they were going to do something about it, why wouldn't they have done it prior to free agency? And now that they're there, and that was Eisen's, what he heard at the combine was, this is a rip the Band-Aid off year, basically. And if Dak doesn't take him deep into the playoffs, that they'll maybe be ready to move on, let him go to free agency and see what happens.
I mean, I don't know. I hadn't really gotten that vibe from here, but it's possible.
Yeah, I'm here too, but I don't listen to enough local news.
Yeah, I mean, not just that. I mean, I just haven't heard. I mean, it seemed like it was kind of a given. I mean, Dak's put up the numbers, I
agree. I mean,
a lot of it is also, look at our receiving core right now for the Cowboys. Like, he's not Mahomes maybe, but he needs somebody other than just CD. I mean, really, they got nobody right now. I mean, they got, Cooks did not do that great, unfortunately. Yeah. And now we got rid of Gallup. I mean, they didn't get anyone in free agency. We have so many holes. They only got 7 picks in the draft. I don't know if they can really afford to go wide receiver early. So what they're going to do there.
That's what has me like leaning into the notion that maybe Eisen heard something that was actually true, and that, like, if they were going to restructure and do something with Dak, they would have done it so they could make some moves in free agency. I know Cowboys fans out there that I see a lot of are saying this all-in thing is not as all-in as they hoped.
I mean, a lot of Cowboys fans just don't understand, what kind of the going rate is either. They like to blame, a lot of stuff on Dak. But I mean, yeah, he could have inside information. I really don't know. That's interesting. It's something I'm going to have to think about and look at, because I kind of thought that it was a given. And, wasn't 100% sure what they were gonna. Oh, am I on the clock, guys?
I was just about to interrupt you and say, Steph, you got 30 seconds left.
Okay. I am going. Woo! I don't even know. All right, I'm going to take Daniel Jones.
Okay.
Again, he may not start, but he's my quarterback 4.
I think he will. They were talking a little talk about that today, that like he's the guy. And I know, the Seattle would like us to believe that Drew Lock left because he thinks he's not going to be the guy, or that he has a chance to be the guy, but that's not what the signals are being sent. That said, Daniel Jones has not been somebody who has demanded to hold on to that starting role. As a previous engineer of the Daniel Jones hype train, I should probably recuse myself from this conversation.
Oh, I had a lot of Daniel Jones last year. It did not go well. My Jones and Slayton and
the
Hyatt
idea
stacks.
I mean, the
and Wandale.
Yeah, with Wandale coming back and Waller, I mean, like going into the season, that wasn't a bad thought process. They were taking Danny Dimes. I mean, really, it didn't work out, but I don't think the that wasn't wrong or anything.
Well, he was going so late. I mean, he seemed a decent value, and he's got a rushing floor. So there's some upside.
Totally. I mean, he's quicker than everybody remembers.
Yeah, he
I've
can run. He can run, but mostly because he has to run, and that's a concern.
Hey, listen, fantasy doesn't distinguish between yards because you have to run, yards because you want to run. So
Jonathan Siegel fine with that pick, thinks it's a safe pick there, and I kind of, that's kind of my expectation as well. I thought maybe they would draft somebody, but then they land, they go ahead and sign Drew Lock. I was worried if they drafted somebody like early, that what is a sixth pick, they might pull something like that and just groom him for a year, get him ready, and go with Jones because the money demands it. Interesting.
Stephanie,
Tyler Lockett, Marvin Mims.
We got to talk about Marvin Mims. We got to talk about our boy.
I'm back in.
Are you in? Me too.
I put it so I help out with some dynasty rankings. So it's like as soon as I saw Judy trade, I think we should move up Marvin Mims. And I was very happy when the response was because I was kind of a little more conservative at first, when you're talking to somebody else about stuff. And it's like, oh, I think he could be a little higher. And I was like, really? Higher? Mm-hmm. I was going to, but I didn't want to put him where you want. And then I'll tell you if it's too high. Went all in. Nope, perfect. And I was like, I think so too. So, I mean, he could be the wide receiver too. Easily.
There goes Curtis Samuel, though, who is an interesting treat. The last time we saw him in cahoots with Joe Brady, 1,000+ yards from scrimmage. I think and I think you're back on the clock there, Steph.
I am. I see it this time.
But Curtis Samuel is an interesting piece because he's not going to be the wide receiver 2 there. I don't know that I think they're going to draft somebody because I don't think it's going to be Mac Hollins, but Samuel with Joe Brady as a coordinator, Samuel in general, I mean, he's just such a versatile piece that a coordinator that knows how to use him, they might get a little something out of him. I'm interested.
I'm going back and forth because I need something, but there's some values. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to try this. I'm going to take Troy Franklin because I can't pass.
Ooh, Troy Franklin. Okay. I mean,
he didn't have the best combine, but apparently teams are still in on him. So, sounds like so. I mean, again, best ball. These rookies, I love. They're going to come on when I need them to.
Oh yeah, you never know.
Tyler Conklin is interesting because you wonder what they're going to do. I see a comment even in the chat now, just as I'm saying this, the risk of Bowers landing in New York. I talked to Andy Vasquez yesterday from NJ.com about that very possibility. He thinks they need to still go wide receiver, but we brought up the possibility. Might they go for Bowers? And he thought it was totally possible. So we'll see.
Bob Jorge wants to know who you have more faith in this year, Khalil Shakir or Curtis Samuel.
I feel like this is a trick question because everyone knows I have way too much faith in Curtis Samuel, and I'm going to make myself a fool. And someone will come. No, I do. I believe more in Curtis Samuel having a more consistent, legitimate role than Khalil Shakir, unless he moves, unless he develops more. I mean, I think Samuel, they kind of all do similar things, but Khalil Shakir is not a wide receiver too. Samuel's not a wide receiver too. I don't think they sign Samuel if they think Shakir is the guy that can dominate that role.
No, I agree. I mean, Samuel's shown more in that role than Shakir has so far. I mean, Shakir hasn't been bad, but Samuel's been better, and I don't think they would have. It's repetitive.
So we said Khalil Shakir's name, and automatically the auto draft gods take him for who is this?
Ahead of Gabe Davis.
Oh, I didn't even realize we had auto drafters.
Yeah, you can see the auto drafters got the asterisk.
Now, I see it now.
Yeah.
Dalton Kincaid, Jonathan Siegel says wide receiver 2 for Buffalo. He might not be wrong.
Ooh, yeah, not now. Now that Gabe Dave's gone.
I mean, I think they still probably draft somebody.
I do too. That's where I'm at on this one. But like the Jets have, a number of holes, and so it's tight end is possible. They could still use another wide receiver, Xavier Gibson, as the wide receiver 3. There are people who are not quite sold on him yet. Jeremy Ruckert will never be a thing, except on the dynasty rosters that I'll never release.
Excuse me. I have him on a dynasty roster as well. So I was like, he could. You never know. No.
I still have Devin Asiasi on dynasty roster, so who am I to talk?
I remember that. Yeah, I mean, I just have some really deep dynasty rosters. I think is what. Yeah, sounds like we play in some
32 teams, 50-man rosters. Hey, 2 copies of every player.
That's wild.
Yeah. I have a 3-copy auction.
Ooh.
That I run. It's fun.
Oh damn. Sean Green out Dynasty. There. I don't know if anything's gonna ever come of Kuntz though. I just don't, I mean, maybe he develops at some point.
Am I hogging the spotlight here? Do you have anyone else that you were bringing on?
But I'm trying to find them, and I don't see them on yet. So, Steph, if you would like to stay, you're more than welcome to stay and hang out with us. Sure. If you have some stuff to do, no problem if you want to head on out too. Either one, whichever works for you.
I'm drafting, so I'm here for a little while.
All right. Well,
I'm good. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't accidentally hogging the spotlight.
No, girl, you're good. You are all good. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I mean, how many of these guys are there? These tight ends like Zach Kuntz. I mean, the Donald Parham of the other coast. The 6'8". So many of them.
Let's see who. Oh, there's still some value out there. I'm looking over here.
I have a plan. I just want to see if I can pull it off.
Here we go.
Let's see. She's on the clock.
I mean, I'm not sure Antonio Gibson isn't a pretty good value here. I think Jaleel McLaughlin, too. I think this whole, and I saw earlier, Braylon Allen, they comment that that's the Cowboys, the apple of the Cowboys' eyes.
I'm not a huge Allen fan. I mean, we'll see. He's young and he's big, but, I'm worried about, his production went down. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go tight end here because it's been a while, and this is a tight end premium league.
It is. Juwan Johnson.
I was hoping McLaughlin made it to me. I know you guys were talking earlier, and I bit my tongue. I mean, I think he has a good chance. I mean, I think really good chance at a role. I mean, and he was good. We hope that Williams, is better his second year coming off the injury, but McLaughlin is in a position that he could definitely challenge him. I mean, he's not somebody I would want behind me necessarily. He showed a lot his rookie season.
Steph, I think you may have sniped somebody.
Sorry.
I think Anne is There we go.
Sorry,
She's
not
got
sorry.
both. Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
there's the rookie.
Damn
signing
it.
we were all
Damn
waiting
it.
for, not named
Damn it.
Roscoe.
I was playing the ADP game. I actually wanted Sanders over Johnson, but I looked at the ADPs, so I was hoping he made it back so I could double tap that. So you got me back. Did she get me back? Is that Ann?
No,
drafted?
Ann is in the 10 spot. So
Yep.
no, Ann's next.
No, that was who got it.
That's
no.
Ann. So she got me.
You're
She got
sorry.
Sanders.
Yeah, good.
And she's pleased by this.
She's happy that that she's tilting me.
And yes, Jonathan Siegel, there are 2 more drafts, correct? Tuesday and Thursday?
Yeah, 2 more. We've got Tuesday night, and that's when I'm going to be in Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern. And then Thursday night is going to be at 10 p.m. Eastern because we have some ladies that are over on the West Coast. So get a nap in during the day because we are going to be drafting late. Yes, it is the Snipe Fest, Mr. Scam. Ooh, Tucker Craft going. There we go.
That second option.
Yeah, I like that. I like that Hunter Henry pick too. I mean, look, I get it. He's old
Hunter
and
Henry
everything,
is he's the secret weapon tight end right now. Like totally is, we don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be for sure, but I just think that was the ideal landing spot for him. And he's just been going so late in drafts. I'm getting a ton of him in best ball. I don't want to, but as that, as the second or third tight end, if you're going that deep, he's so available so late.
No, he's a good pick, I think.
Is Mario Douglas off the board yet, or is he still out there?
I haven't seen him go.
No, I haven't either. Well, I mean,
the Patriots have a lot of guys, so
Austin Hooper.
They do not a lot that I'd want, but there's not a lot of Patriots that I would want on my team. But I wouldn't mind Henry or
Mario Douglas is the other one that I would probably be interested in.
I was taking him in like
has a chance.
Love it.
Taysom Hill, always a viable best ball option if he's listed as a quarterback.
Yeah, they've got him listed as QB on FFPC.
Yep.
Truthers are.
I am. I feel like this is another case, Steph. Maybe you'll, I like Jaden Reed just fine. And I think the other pieces are fine. But in the Packers receiving core, if I'm buying the cheapest piece in, it's Dontavian Wicks. I'm feeling okay about that. And best ball for sure.
Oh yeah. Where did Christian Watson? Here we go in the 12th round. So Jaden Reed goes in the 7th.
And is Dobbs gone?
Yeah, I just saw Dubs. Dubs.
So I think they went in the right order.
Yeah, I think so too. I know. Oh, here we go.
Dubs is there in 13.
Yeah,
I think this kind of went. I mean, unless somebody's really excited about Bo Melton. How deep are we going here? How deep are we diving into this Packers receiving core?
I love the Packers though in best ball. I love that's my team. Periods, but it's harder to draft them right in redraft, right? Because you never know who it's going to be. But I love them so much in best ball. I love it.
I've got a ton of Wicks already. I feel like I'm already overweight on Wicks.
Wicks looked good. I mean, yeah, he really popped when I was doing some research on some guys, looking at his stuff on PFF. He just kept showing up there. I mean, but the problem is Reed looked good too. And they rotate guys a lot. Like you said, it's harder in redraft to know. I mean, Love looked good. I think there's volume, but I am worried about the speed. They are still not playing that fast, which, it wasn't just a Rodgers thing.
I mean, I think Reed is the easy call is the guy that I would probably most want to have, but do I want to pay for it? When I can get Wicks, well into the double-digit rounds, sometimes closer to 20.
I love the Wicks pick there. I mean, I just don't need receiver right now as much.
See Kelly Donovan asking about the Green Bay tight ends. I mean, I think the order is still Musgrave and then Kraft, but Musgrave is not the sturdiest of builds, right? He's, one of those kind of more athletic, narrow kind of guys. I don't know.
I mean, it's close. I would almost, in this, I'd definitely probably still take Musgrave, but in Dynasty, I don't know. I mean, there's still a chance he overtakes him, and they've been using both. I wouldn't want to invest necessarily the price in what Musgrave is. it does
To
worry me a
answer-
little.
It does. To answer Sean's question real quick, Sean, there is no kicker in defense in this league. This is a slim build that we are doing here tonight, so we don't have to worry about kickers or defenses, anything like that. Personally, just the way I like it. Oh, there we go. There goes Jameis and Jahan Dotson. Oh, God, I was so high on Jahan Dotson last year. Such a disappointment.
So I was recently talking to who was the beat writer I talked to from Washington? I want to say from the Athletic, Ben Standing. And I was saying, man, what happened to Jahan Dotson? And honestly, Ben doesn't think that either McLaurin or Dotson are wide receiver one, NFL wide receiver one material. But Dotson's fall has been startling. I mean, I wonder if they, as much as they threw last year, as much as they threw the football last year, somebody should have been better.
Well, and especially when you look at his stats his first year, I mean, he got hurt, he missed a lot of games, but I mean, they were absolutely using him, for where they drafted him that his rookie season. And then last year, my gosh, that was rough. That was rough. I think I took him in the 4th in one of my higher money leagues. That was very upsetting. Quentin Johnston. Oof.
I mean, he was bad. I mean, I don't have all of the stats in front of me, but
38 catches.
It was really bad. Yeah, I mean, he just wasn't efficient. I mean, we saw. I mean, Curtis Samuel outplayed him a lot.
My clap was a reference to his receiving style. Look, I mean, guys can get better, So I mean, everything else about him is great, but catching the ball is an important part of his job, and hopefully he can improve.
Is everything great? He wasn't earning that many targets. I mean,
well, I don't know, I mean, the physical attributes are great, the size and the speed and everything, but his ability to get, his ability to run routes are, I mean, I think all that's open questions. So we go in with, Justin Herbert's top 2 receiving assets being Quentin Johnston and Joshua Palmer, and that's about it on the roster right now. There's not a lot else, so I'm guessing they'll be drafting.
Do they I mean, do they go after a receiver? Do you think they go?
They might have 5.
For him there. I don't know. What do you?
Yeah, they're going to 5. I mean, I've heard people mention Bowers there. I mean, if you go back, I mean, the tight end was Vernon Davis was a big part of the San Francisco offense. But obviously, it's the answer here is Gus Edwards to the moon. Clearly.
Do you guys want to hear a stat about Gus Edwards
easily.
that blew my mind earlier today? Because I saw this and I was like, there's no way. Did you know that first off, did you know that Gus Edwards had 13 touchdowns last year? Because I did not realize that. 13, and every single one of them was in the red zone. Every single one.
Oh yeah, he's going to get them here. I mean,
there's
Quick preview of my notebook article that'll be out on Footballgys later tonight or early tomorrow. Big chunk of there on Gus Edwards and just his numbers with Greg Roman calling the plays for 4 years in Baltimore were really good. The new GM calling him the bell cow. I still think they'll draft somebody, but in regular best balls, we were talking about a guy going as wide receiver or running back 40. I think he's going to pay off. And also, you look at the money that was doled out to some of these guys. You look at the high-end guys; they all got paid.
Yep.
The bus is getting filled up with his $3.5 million a year deal there, and I think he may outproduce some of the guys. I'm looking at you, Tony Pollard and DeAndre Swift, that got paid way more than him.
Gus,
it's definitely possible. I mean, he had, Pollard did not look good, and I mean, he's getting up there, coming off an injury. There's no guarantee he's going to get it back. I think Gus is going to be the goal line, regardless of, like you say, they take somebody. He's going to get a lot of those high value touches.
For sure. Also has averaged 5.19 yards per carry with Greg Roman as play caller. Career average almost 5 yards per carry. I think 4.91. So,
Steph, do you think? I feel like Pollard really just thrived more in a situation where he was, back when he was with Zeke, where there's some other guy there, that he can play off of. Do you think that that'll kind of come back now that he's in Tennessee?
I never, honestly, I mean, with running back, it's so hard to, once they lose it and coming off, like I said, the age, once they fall off that cliff, a lot of times they fall. I don't think necessarily it was being a number one with him. I mean, I think over time, you're getting more work and you're getting more tread on the tires. Could take some of that experience. Then he had the injury. But also, Dallas just ran him up the middle. They didn't get him out, down the sideline. I mean, they just didn't use him the way they should have. So, I mean, is it possible that he could show something in coming off the injury if they use him correctly and get some back? Sure, but I still don't think he's going to be the same explosive guy to the level we saw before previously.
I think it's totally true, though, that, he may not have been healthy until down the stretch run, right? But I mean, talking to Michael Gelkin numerous times, he had some super interesting numbers on the usage in terms of him hitting his high speed, which was like in the 19 to 20 mile an hour range. It was like 2 years ago, it was, 4% of his carries. This year it was like under 2% of his carries. And I think part of that was where they were running him, but also we can go back to 2 years ago when Skip Pete was still the running backs coach, and he just came out and said, look, we don't think he should have more than 25, 30 snaps a game, not touches, snaps. And I think there was a reason for that, because they probably realized, where that that was not his wheelhouse. Mike McCarthy, maybe less so, or just didn't have the other people to put around him in that role.
Yeah. I mean, it totally makes sense. I mean, I agree with all of that, but I'll take him if he falls and in best ball, but he's definitely not somebody I'm, going out of my way to take. So I think I'm going to do one more running back here.
Jorge wants to know, Chris Rodriguez has been drafted yet. Steph, I mean, I think he's available. You could always go after him if you wanted right now in the 18th round.
Yeah, I'm going to take one of my rookie guys that I like here. That might be a good pass catcher. I can't help myself. Small school guy, but he's gotten a lot of buzz here. Yes.
How do you say that last name?
Lob, I believe.
Lob. Okay. You can tell I'm really up to date.
I'm pretty sure it's Lob, but I could be wrong.
Oh,
but I mean, he had some of his pass game usage was like on par with Gibbs. Of course, he went to smaller school and stuff, but I mean, his numbers, if you look, they were ridiculous. And he had a pretty good combine. He had a great per day. I mean, there's some buzz. And I mean, especially in full PPR. Is this full PPR? I always forget.
Yeah, this is a full PPR. Mm-hmm.
PR. I mean, he could easily walk into having a third down back role. And I mean, they were even at the combine having him run out like wide receiver routes. Mm-hmm. Like, you always hear they're going to run a guy out of the slot. Like they might actually do that. Like there could be a team that might draft him as a slot receiver.
So I had a couple comments on the Demarcus Robinson pick, and I'm kind of on board with this. A guy we're waiting that late, weeks 13 through 17 last year. You're wide receiver 12 in all of fantasy football. Like that's not my expectation, people, but I think the point where he's going this late has been, I mean, he's been one of the great values of drafts. I mean, I would say the same of Rashad Bateman. I don't expect him to ever turn into the guy they draft him to be in Baltimore, but I'm expecting him to outperform this draft position. Seems like not a huge reach. Quentin Johnston, not so much. Sorry, man. Got to learn how to catch.
No, I'll take some Robin. I take him if I have stack, if I have Stafford. Yeah. Sometimes as a late round. I mean, they used him in the red zone. I mean, That's all you need at this point. A little bit of spike. I do tend to, unless if I don't have a stack, go for like some of the rookies in these last rounds, just because I mean, it's a deep class. There's a lot of those unknowns, and that's when these guys come on late. They're going to improve by the end of the season. That's what you want. You want the guy that could be balling out. You want to find the next Rashee Rice.
Yep.
I mean, you want to say Puka, but Puka was good the entire season. Rashee didn't get a full-time role until after the bye there when he was running.
It's a problem for me. I just can't let go of the old guys. I don't know why.
I mean, in these best ball formats and at big tournaments, you really want to get that. I mean, the rookie upside is just
you draft
huge.
What you are, Steph. You draft what you are.
Well, we'll have to talk more in Dallas.
Oh, Dawson Knox in the 19th round. Oh, I love it. That's great. That's a great pick.
Has Rodriguez gone yet?
I don't think so. No.
I feel like I was skewered. I was skewered in a Fantasy and Frames draft last year for drafting Chris Rodriguez very late. I feel like this is retribution. His rise.
I've taken him, but he's.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Chris Rodriguez. I got peer pressured into taking him in like some late waivers, here and there. But I really didn't do anything last year.
Yeah, I mean, I had the waiver on him. I've taken him before in these, when it's made sense, but he's not necessarily one of my like main late round targets.
Whew. Damian Pierce in the 19th round. My goodness. That's another one, how they've fallen there. Where did Joe Mixon go?
I'm actually pretty in on Mixon.
I'm pretty in on Mixon too. Volume is going to be the thing.
Too. He was there he is. So Bonnie.
All right, so I'm gonna do talking about rookies, that I like to take at this point.
Yeah, so Mixon went in the 7th round.
I'm gonna go
to Brenda there, our 12th team.
Davis Allen, Mr. Scampers is out there having
Tez Walker.
His whiskers are twitching, I'm sure.
He
does not last this late in non-super flex drafts. None of these rookies do. I mean, so I feel like I'm like, wow, there's some good receivers still on the board.
I think it's funny about Mixon, though, going to Houston where, volume is going to be the thing that drives him. And the Bengals kind of moved on from him because they felt like the explosive play rate was not great. And it wasn't. He's like way down on his breakaway rate is really low, like one of the lowest of the starters since 2020. So I think it's interesting that he goes to a place where the volume is going to carry him, and that's all he needs, right? I think he's going to be an overlooked. I think he's going in regular best balls around running back 18 or so. I think that's a pretty nice price.
I really
he not as much as he should have, I think, for the landing spot.
Right, I agree. And the money they gave him the extension, a $9 million a year extension.
I mean, guys, just think about it. Like a year ago, right? Houston, looks like they have no clue what they're doing, and now look at them. My gosh, like what a complete turnaround.
This is the NFL's like ultimate desire is for every year to year, any team can come out of nowhere and turn into one of the top teams.
Yes, I love it. This must be our round for rookie Nepo babies, with Frank Gore Jr. and Luke McCaffrey going right here.
That feels early for those. Well, I mean, I get the running back because running back's been pretty wiped clean this draft.
Yeah.
But there is quite a few. I haven't really been into Luke that much. I've taken him a couple times in the 20th, but like I said, usually in non-super flex, it's a lot more picked over. There's some other guys that I think are guaranteed at some probably better draft capital that are still on the board that I would rather take shots on.
I really like
this class is so deep, though. Yeah. I mean, it really is.
Especially at that position. The team right in between you guys, stuff with the Trey Palmer pick, I really like. I was a big Trey Palmer fan last year.
I would have liked him more if they didn't bring back Evans, though.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, I think, though, getting him in the 19th round in a best ball, though, I mean, he's going to be good for a couple touchdowns, some long plays here and there. Like he might
he could be
position a couple weeks out of the season. Guys,
I'd take him in Baker stacks.
Yeah, that's a fun way to do a little Tampa stack. Guys, we are going into the 20th round here, bringing it home. Steph, I know you're going to be up here pretty soon, but I want you to think about, because you do so many of these, give me some advice for some new best ball drafters out there. If they're new to this format, what would be something that you could share with them?
Practice, reps. Now, right now you're drafting this early in the season. I mean, like I said, you don't know all this matchups and stuff. You can stack team correlation of guys take some late shots on those rookies. Don't be scared. They're gonna the more information we get, guys are gonna move up. Take a shot, where you think things could play out. If you try to get ahead, if you think a guy's gonna rise a lot, if some news, but don't overreact to things that we already priced in at the same time, because people get bored and want to do everything. It's hard. I don't know. I mean, there's so many different aspects you could do. But that's
Bob, what do you think? What would you tell a new best ball drafter?
I think just, the goal at this point, Steph is exactly right. Take chances right now. Pick some players, play your hunches. They're perfectly fine at this point because we don't know what's going to happen. I think the goal for me right now, why I want to draft, is because when you're steeped in a subject, you're more knowledgeable about it. So at any point in the year, the more drafts I've done, the more comfortable I am when I get in a spot. Like if I'm covering a draft and I'm live streaming and someone says, "Oh, you got 5 seconds left to make your pick." I have someone right in my hip pocket, right? Because you've been drafting so much and you don't get caught off guard when someone gets picked out from under you. And just you have this understanding of ADP. By the time you get to the drafts that matter the most for you, it's second nature, and that's, to me, that's all about reps. The more I draft, the better I feel as I go along down the stretch. And look, like Steph said, there are going to be things happen. You're going to hit the jackpot on some of these things. And you're going to get hosed on some of these things. Yeah. Guess what? You're not alone. Anyone out here drafting with you, anyone running through the best ball mean streets right now is getting the same treatment you are. So take your chances on players that you love, players that you have hunches on. Don't let anyone talk you out of any of that.
I love it. Do I have any other Malachi Corley fans in the house? Or is it just me? Am I on the island?
I haven't quite gone on the Malachi Corley train. You sell me on him. Go.
Well, I just like that he's a little bit different, than what I've noticed with some of these guys that we've got coming out this year. Like, they're all real tall and real thin, our fast guys, our field stretchers. Seems like we got a ton of those in this draft. I like Malachi Corley because he's a little bit thick, he's a little bit shorter than that. I feel like he's kind of got some like Debo comparisons floating around out there on the internet that I'm kind of into a little bit. And I like that. I like that he's the Yak King, self-proclaimed Yak King, but I think it's well-deserved. And I don't know. I just think he's a fun player,
I think like Leggett kind of fits that mold too a little bit is that kind of guy.
Yeah.
But here's where I like to bring out the Sesame Street theory of drafting. Ooh. One of these things is not like the other. There's something to that, right? I mean, when when all the pieces look the same, I do that like with receiving cores. You look for the players that are a little bit different than the other guys on the roster. I mean, like you take the New York Giants. Is there an outside receiver there, or is it just like all slot guys?
I mean, you're only allowed to be a New York Giant if you're a slot guy. That's all that's
so yes, the Sesame Street theory is in play.
But they're giving Hyatt the role. That's another reason I'm not as into Wandell this year.
Me too. Me too.
Because I mean, no, I'm not. I'm off of him though because of the fact he's going to get a slot role. He's not going to be playing it. They're saying
that's what I've heard.
He's the best
from multiple beat writers there that's going.
Oof.
And did Miles Sanders not go at all?
He did. He actually, so I saw Mr. Scampers posted that before he went. So I wanted to call that out real quick. Scampers, Miles Sanders did get drafted. You did not miss it.
There in the 20th
round. There we go.
Right. 20th round. How the mighty have fallen.
That's oh my goodness. Look at that. We've got Darius Slayton and Jalen Hyatt. They're going in the last round. Guys, thank you so much for staying and hanging out and everything. Steph, appreciate you staying on a little bit longer.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Just like old times.
Like old times. Steph, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, so right now I'm over on Legendary Upside. I'm doing Dynasty rankings, helping out with those, and I had my first article drop. On Dynasty. It's a free article, so you can check it out. It was Dynasty value on Rashi Rice. I will be working on some more articles, and then in season I will be running all of the waiver content over there. So I will be doing all my waiver write-ups. If you had my newsletter last year, you're a little familiar with all of that.
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
So yeah.
It.
Yeah. So check it out on Legendary Upside. And if you play best ball, we got tons of tools and articles and rankings over there as well.
And great people.
Yes.
And great people.
Bob, tell us what you got going on. What can we expect from a Football Diehard soon?
I'll be at Footballgys putting out articles every week. My fantasy notebook comes out this very evening. You'll get it in the email if you're signed up for the email overnight, and starting to do a video series there with news. Also, hear me on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Right now, it's 1 day a week. Oh, because it's baseball season there. Baseball season ends when the draft starts for the NFL. So see you. It'll get a lot busier there at Sirius XM when the draft rolls around. I'll be a big part of the coverage that weekend and beyond.
Awesome, guys. Make sure to give both Bob and Steph a follow there at Football Diehard. Steph is at Steph Miller 57. Guys, thanks again for hanging out with us the entire night. Thanks to everybody who joined in the chat. The chat was phenomenal. You guys are amazing. Guys, we'll be back live Tuesday night, 9 p.m. We'll be doing our second draft. That's the Aaron Andrews division. Make sure to follow us for that. Hit subscribe if you haven't already so you can get notifications of all of our shows. And we will see you Tuesday.